Thank you so much for joining us here this evening. It's been a tough week for you, hasn't it?
No, indeed. Since we came to SAA starting yesterday, we've had very long days, finishing in the early evenings yesterday and even today. Tomorrow is also another full day, which the first part will be spent at SAA and the afternoon at Transnet, and Friday morning to lunchtime will be at Transnet, and then our oversight will be concluded.
Can you tell us about how these oversight visits have been structured? Have you planned for it for a long time, or is it like a surprise visit from the school inspectors to check if the teachers have been doing their work? How have you gone about the planning of these?
Well, usually our oversight visits would arise from hearings that we would have had in Parliament. We would have picked up issues that we believe we need continuous follow-ups to make sure that there is no relaxation, things are corrected. And for us to go into the operational areas and especially interact with ordinary workers away from management. Whenever we've gone to various sections, we've requested management to stay away so we can talk to the workers and say, talk to us. What are the problems? What do you see happening here?
And what have they said? What are some of the things they've said to you, if you are able to share?
Yeah, no, look, yesterday we spent the whole day at SAA Technical. We went to the supply chain management division, the finance, the HR, went to the hangars, to the engine storage. Yeah. Now, what we have found is that workers do open up. At SAA, there's very low morale. The attitude of management is just bad. The nepotism in the employment and promotions are bad. The thieving of components for aeroplanes, from gearboxes to important engine parts, to managers awarding themselves contracts. Let me say, South African Airways Technical is under siege from its own employees.
Because you used words like syndicate and looting. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like one day people are going to pitch up for a flight and there'll be a plane there without wheels. It's like tangible things that are being stolen on a day-by-day basis, and there are people at various parts of the sort of supply chain or infrastructure that are allowing this to happen and are pocketing as a result of it.
No, very true. Look, the way it is, there is no way that a single individual can steal that much, say a gearbox of an aeroplane. There is no way you can steal that as an individual unless you are a group, you are a syndicate. There are enablers along the way, and that is what you have. We have met the workers, we have made the trade unions, and it's just so shocking. And yet you realize that actually getting SAA right is not as difficult as it comes out there, because if you get SAA Technical right, then half your problems at SAA will be sorted out. And that has been the center of the looting and the corruption at SAA.
How comfortable are you, or how positive are you that SAA and the management that is there at this moment will be able to get that right and in as quick a period of time as possible? Because I think we agree, South Africans don't want to hear about another R1 billion bailout going to SAA.
Well, it will be interesting for the public to know that, today when we went to the supply chain section, at the door they have a sign there that says save 3 billion rands, which is their target to close the gaps to save that amount of money. If you look at their last financial statements, revenue generated was 30.7 billion, operational costs were 33.5, which means if you save 3 billion rands, then you break even and you can even start making profits. So for me, SAA does not need a bailout. SAA does not need to be privatized. We just need, as the worker said, fire the bad management, and then you'll get everything back to normal.
Now, the words that you use, you didn't mince your words. You said those corrupt individuals must be fired who are found to be guilty at SAA. And you said, quote, any monies lost because of their actions must be recovered from their pensions, and those who are involved in criminal looting must go to jail. Now, even though you had an idea already on paper of what was going on at SAA and why they've been struggling, were you angered by what you found there yesterday?
Look, yesterday we were all depressed, I must say. It was horrendous, to say the least, to find the levels of rampant looting where I think there's a report called Open Water Report, which implicates people from board members right down in a way that suggests that, you know what, there's no level that you can say is free of the looting or the corruption that has happened there. It's terrible. Right now, we were sitting with an acting CEO at SAA Technical, and yet this afternoon some workers come to us and say, but that man is named in the Open Water Report as being one of those who are corrupt. And we will be taking that up strongly with the SAA board tomorrow, for it is their turn to talk to us and say, but how does it happen that you have this continuous looting? You buy components, they get lost, and yet your security is so laxed. And when there is attempts to go and look at security, there are pushbacks, you know. And we think that as Scopa, we would want to see action being taken.
Have you given them a deadline for that action to be taken, and what those deliverables will be by that deadline?
Well, we're meeting with the board tomorrow. Today, we're meeting with the management of SAA Technical as well as SAHFs as the subsidiaries of SAA, just to focus on them separately as subsidiaries. But tomorrow, we'll be looking at the group and looking at the overall. And I think that is where we will be stating that this is what we want to see happening within this particular time frame, and names that have been given to us of people who are not contributing positively. We've told them today, and those managers were there, we told them, workers say you are doing A, B, C, D. And these are the things that we want stopped, because you see, unless and until we're able to pinpoint individuals and just generalize about corruption and looting, we'll not be able to make progress.
Now, if I could just shift focus to Transnet, big news today. I'm sure you heard the CEO of Transnet and 2 other executives were suspended pending investigations, apparently around their involvement in a procurement deal worth something like 38 billion rand. That is not small change by any matter. I see you taking a deep breath there. Your reaction to that news?
Well, look, it's a bit mixed, because we are going there tomorrow, and so we'll be going to an institution that is leaderless. Remember that in January we had an engagement with Transnet with these very officials who were suspended. They made commitments on things that needed to be done, on matters that need to be addressed, on investigations that need to be done. And so we're going there to say, well, let's see accountability, what has happened. So they won't be there. I spoke to the chairperson of the board early this week. Well, maybe it was not for him to indicate to me that, look, we are thinking of ABCD. But at the same time, we've always stressed that wherever wrongdoing has been found, action must be taken, irrespective of who is involved, without fear, without favor, and without prejudice.
One final question, I have to let you go, but in that story we had of Themba Godi earlier, he made the promise saying that SOEs will be in a better shape before South Africans go to the polls in 2019. Now, you're part of a committee that's made up of members from various political parties. Is this about the elections now, that we're finally seeing action being taken, people being suspended in SOEs that have been racked by corruption for many years already?
No, I wouldn't want to look at it in that particular context. As you can see, we are in the afternoon of our term in Parliament, so to speak, but we are doing our work as normal. And I do think that momentum has just shifted in a particular direction at a particular time. And I think we must continue to take action irrespective of whether it is winter or summer, whether it is elections or not. We need to continue to do the right things. And the right things are what we need to do to make sure that public money is served.